Right then, we have, well, I mean, we're live, apparently, by all accounts, but I'm just going to check if we can make sure that we're going to Twitter, because it's showing me that I'm having a slight issue with Twitter. But we'll get that sorted. Hello there, everybody. Welcome along. It's a pleasure to have you here. We are going to be talking to someone very cool, very shortly indeed. Someone who's had one hell of a week. We are going to be talking to Elsa Charretier very soon indeed. But as always, if you are watching this now, that means that you are a subscriber to my various social medias, and I really appreciate your company. Thank you very much indeed for coming along. As always, we'd like to say thank you very much indeed to everybody who's a Patreon supporter. The names have just rolled by on the screen. There we go. That's now live on Periscope as well. So yeah, thank you very much indeed to everybody who's shown support, as always, to all of our social medias and also to our platform. It's a pleasure to keep bringing you what we do. We've got a very special incidental episode which is happening tomorrow, but I'll tell you more about that in a second. We'll get into that. All in all, I think this is going to be a really cool show. Right then, hello there everybody, welcome along to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Leonard Sultana and I am incredibly bereft at the moment because I don't actually have a cup of tea to hand, because I've been running around kind of getting myself sorted over the course of this weekend. It's been a busy one for me. If you've been following my social media, you know that I've also been supporting my local hospital radio station, which I'm a presenter on, which means my body clock is completely out of all control. I've had no sleep because I did a very late night radio show on Saturday morning, which means from there on in it's just completely left me a little bit discombobulated. But that is nothing compared to the guest that I've got for you today, considering that I can imagine that she has had very little sleep for some time. She's had herself a campaign that she's been running, which went live this week. We'll talk about that and how well it's gone. Yeah, well, let's talk about it now, because we have ourselves the fantastic Elsa Charretier, and I always seem to kind of get that slightly wrong. I get my vowels mixed up.
You're all right.
But I got there.
Hi, Leonard. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. The audio is a little bit choppy, but we'll sort that out. I think that might just be a little bit of internet at Elsa's side, but we'll work it out. We'll get there. But that's also possibly because Elsa's internet has been hit left, right, and centre because, like I say, she's running a Kickstarter campaign for her second art book, which, let's just say it out loud, 6 minutes funded. That's impressive. That's not too shabby. You must be happy about that.
Yeah, we were very happy and very surprised. We weren't expecting it at all. Is the audio better? Can you hear me fine?
It's breaking up a little bit, but we'll muscle through. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it's my internet. My internet broke out on the day we started the campaign. So
oh no!
That is fantastic. I've been going through it with my phone, so it's yeah, I understand that it's not great. But yeah, funded in 6 minutes. We were a bit scared that because of the whole pandemic and economic crisis that people were not going to show up because maybe they were out of money. Turned out we were wrong.
Very much so. Very much so.
People do seem to have money when it comes to supporting, either local businesses or third creators.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will kind of. This is where I start sort of like sucking up to you a little bit because I am a supporter. I had the first one. That's a proud supporter of the first art book. And yes, I've been a fan for a while. I want to get this signed at some point. Okay.
That is old.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I want to get that signed at some point. So no, I have been a fan for a while. I think, I mean, the way that I've been starting this run of shows is with 3 questions. So we'll start with the 3. Like I say, I've kind of got my drink to hand, but it's in a. This is my cup of tea for today. It's in an Expanse mug. What is your drink of choice today? Do you have a cup of tea to hand?
It's not tea.
It's not tea.
It's lemon.
It's fine. It's a beverage. It's to hand. It's fine. So I mean, when we say a cup of tea, I mean I'm kind of letting the side down on this one. So we'll go with that. Question number 2 is: can you remember the first comic that you got, which made you realise that there were talents involved in making them? Because I think as children we kind of get comics and they just appear out of the blue. There's these stories that just happen to be there. Can you remember the comic where you remember there was like a credit box, or when you first made that connection that there were talents involved in putting those books together?
I remember very well, and because I wasn't that young, I think the first comic I read, I was about 25 years old. So by then, I was aware of creators were working on books. But the first book that made me realize that comics were, first of all, could be something other than superhero, and that you could have a very unique approach to them, was Watchmen. So that's the first book I got, and I thought, oh, okay, I like this. Not that I didn't like the other stuff, but I was less into it. But when I read Watchmen, it just it opened my eyes on what could be done with comics.
I think a lot of people kind of use Watchmen as a touchstone because of there's a real technical storytelling going on. There's some real engine in the way that David Gibbons certainly constructed but it seems so effortless. You almost kind of don't sense it. It's only when you start really peeling it apart when you realize just what the engine's going on.
But you can still tell that it's quality, because when I first read it, I didn't know anything about comics at all, and much less about storytelling. I didn't know how it worked, what were the techniques involved, but I still could tell this is a quality book. First of all, from the writing, it's well written. First of all, and there is something about, and that's one thing that is great about whether it's movies or comics or other art forms. Even if you don't understand what's happening behind the scenes, I want to say, and understand the concepts, you can still say, this is working. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it works.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I get
and it's one of those, I don't want to say effortless reads, because it still needs, you need to be focused when you read it, but it's not something that is like from hell. I wouldn't give from hell to someone that has never read comics, because maybe it's a good way for them to say, I'm not sure comics are for me, because it's very niche.
Yeah, it's very imposing. Is from hell. Yeah. I get that. I certainly get that.
Watchmen can be, I think, a gateway into comics.
Yeah.
For adults.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third question I've been asking my guests is, because it was predominantly supposed to be a Comic Con podcast. It was about news updates for Comic Cons. It's kind of evolved beyond that since we don't have any Comic Cons in 2020,
No, we don't.
which I know. Can you remember your first Comic Con that you went to? And can you remember the guests that you saw there, the ones that kind of caught your attention?
I do remember the first Comic Con I did as a professional artist.
Right.
Because it was New York Comic Con. So I went there. It's a funny story, and it's a rather cute story. Pierrick was my partner, creative partner, had crowdfunded our first book in France, and it did very well. And the leftover money that we got, we used it to go to buy tickets and go to New York Comic Con to pitch the book and hopefully find an American publisher for it. And that book was The Infinite Loop that IDW picked up. And so that was my first Comic Con. I just went from editor's booth to publisher's booth, talking to everyone that I could find, because I thought it might be my only shot. So I've got to make the most of this. As to who I met, the old Artist Alley, I think I talked to everyone.
Well, that's impressive, considering that New York Comic Con, when it comes to Artist Alley, it's one of the biggest ones out there. Yeah.
And I remember I talked to J. Scott Campbell, and he stopped at my table at the end of the show, and there was another artist or editor, I can't remember, who said, "Oh, you know Elsa? Okay, well, apparently everyone knows Elsa. She knows everyone." And I really did, and I just showed up and I talked to everyone. So yeah, I remember my first Comic Con very well.
That's pretty cool. That's excellent stuff. I mean, I want to cover all sorts of stuff with our conversation because there's so much we can talk about. But we also want to try and take some questions as well, because this is a live show, which means it's your show, guys. If you want to put any questions to Elsa, by all means.
Hi everyone. Sorry.
Yes, we have people watching. Indeed, we've got Michael P saying good morning. It's worldwide, is this? Aaron Neighbours, Ola from San Diego, Sarita P, good day all. And over on Facebook, Mark Jackson, good friend of the show. Bonjour, Elsa, your work is so great. You're going to be getting a lot of that. You're going to be getting a lot of that, so that's great. I think, we could start with, we'll start with lockdown and how you've been working through that, because when I've been talking to creators throughout the course of lockdown and through the pandemic and through the summer of 2020, people have been either finding the time at home in isolation freeing, that they've been given time to focus on projects, and then there's the other creators that have found it very difficult to kind of work through and get to the actual work when all of this is going on around them. How have you been finding lockdown through 2020?
I'm on the side that, you know, it's been okay. It hasn't been too hard. It had a lot of stress though, in terms of, first of all, most of the money, all of the money that I make and my entire living is based on sales. I don't work for hire anymore. So if comic shops are closed, they don't sell comics and I don't make any money. Yeah. So that was a bit stressful at first, but I found, you know, other avenues just for the time that, you know, it would take for stores to reopen. I did a lot of commissions and all that stuff. And
I was going to say that seems to be the kind of the way that a lot of artists have gone.
And also I had some money on the side for such things, because as a freelancer, you never know. You can have 6 months with no work in an unexpected situation, a pandemic, for example. So I was lucky enough to have some money, you know, to be able to keep on creating, even though I wasn't making money for a few months.
Yeah.
So, okay. And in terms of, You know, I almost never leave my home. Not never, but I don't own a car. I do it. I walk everywhere. I live in a small village. I work from home, and I work a lot. So it doesn't change my, everyday life that much, I'll say.
Yeah.
But I have a phobia about viruses and microbes and all that stuff.
So you were pretty much built for this summer.
Yeah, but first of all, it started as my nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, this is. But no, now I'm feeling better. I wear my mask everywhere. I haven't seen anyone in like 6 months. So, but I'm good.
Okay. And in terms of the kind of content that you've been reading and checking out, because that's the other 50-50 split as well. It's either people have been taking on everything new, looking at new Kickstarters, every piece of new content they can find, and then there's the other half that's gone comfort food, that's been rewatching Friends again, that kind of thing. So what's it?
Yeah.
What's it been for you?
I've seen too many times. I can watch another reunion of Friends. But now that you say it, I've reread a lot of the books that I have. Maybe it's comfort. Yeah.
Yeah. Which ones have you been rereading?
Novels, mostly. I reread. I'm rereading Circe.
Right. Okay.
Madeline Miller. That I actually loved it the first time around. So I'm rereading that one. I reread Handmaid's Tale, which is another favorite of mine. In terms of graphic novels, what have I reread recently? I haven't read any graphic novels in a few weeks. I'm into novels right now.
What films have you been watching?
Sorry?
What films did you say?
No, I said I'm into graphic novels.
Okay.
I'm into novels right now.
Right, okay, fair enough.
And in terms of films, I watched Parasite.
Okay.
Recently, which was incredible. And that's it. I haven't watched that many films. Oh, yeah, Dunkirk.
All right, okay.
Loved that one. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the pacing, and the cinematography was great.
I was afraid of watching Dunkirk again because I thought that might really encourage me to go and see Tenet, and I can't bring myself to go to a cinema yet.
No, me either. Oh God.
No. So I mean, I'm almost trying to ignore Christopher Nolan stuff because then I can just go, okay, I'll come back to it in the new year. I get it. In terms of the work then, so what have you been doing? Has it been mostly commissions? And in terms of the art book, I mean, how much preparation has been going into that, so like prior to the campaign launch?
So what I've been working on, I finished drawing November.
Oh, hello.
The matte fraction for Image.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can indeed. Sorry, I keep thinking you've frozen. Sorry. I think your picture has frozen.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Your face is gone, but I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the internet's very. I mean, I think we've got a frozen picture of you on screen.
You're back.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. My internet is very, very, very unreliable. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Well, I mean, yes. let's talk about November. How's that gone?
It's finished. I finished the 4th volume, so our last volume, a couple of weeks ago, and right now we're in the process of lettering the book. And the 3rd volume comes out October 20. And the cutoff order for pre-orders for November 4 is the day after that. So it's going to be a pretty November-focused month.
I mean, I'm a big fan of November. It's an incredible book, but I'm also interested in how the creative process of putting that book together is feeding into the art book, because I know that you're using a lot of, because I mean you did that with the first art book. You focused a lot on the process and the relationship you have with Matt Fraction in putting November together as part of the first art book. What's going to be the content for November in the second volume?
It's still up in the air in terms of the November part. The rest, I kind of know what's going in there. I like backers' feedback, so I tend not to lock things until the end of the campaign. In terms of what's going to go for the November part, I think we're going to delve more into how we collaborate. You know, our exchanges and our conversations about his visions and then my vision, and how we find something that works for both of us. For example, the last page of Kay's storyline, I did a version without I don't think I've showed Matt thumbnails for the past 2 volumes. He just get inks. And he got back to me, this is good, but I don't think it works quite well because maybe this part of the script isn't visible in the last page. So can you maybe tweak that? So I did another version, and there was a whole conversation about what the best version would be. So I think I'm going to focus on that, the collaboration between the artist and the writer, because it's very unique to a pair of creators. It changes. I've worked with different writers, and it was a very different relationship. So I think it's an interesting thing to share.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one comic creator that I would really like to meet, well, actually, with a pair of them, obviously, I'd love to meet Matt Fraction, because the way you describe the visit to their house and that artistic nirvana, I think is the way you describe it.
Yeah.
That very freeing nature of collaboration. I think it's intriguing. I'm really curious to see, or to read more about how that relationship works. Especially, I mean, I don't know how long you actually spend on the process, because it seems like from reading the book that it seems a little quicker than most collaborations. It seems very fluid.
Oh, definitely. It is very fluid because he trusts us, and every member of the team, whether it's for colors, for lettering, for design, we all trust each other to come up with our best work for this series. So when you trust each other, it goes fast. You know, you don't have to say much. So Matt sends me scripts, and then I do my own version of those scripts. And most of the time, there are no changes. It's really rare that he will ask me to change or tweak a panel. I think it must have happened 3 times in 4 volumes. Yeah.
Wow.
And even he's open enough to accept that what he had envisioned is not what I envisioned myself, but he will never try to impose his vision on me.
I mean, I'm also really curious about, I mean, I'd love to talk to him about how that kind of collaboration kind of informs the writing, because I'm a real fan of those collaborations where the art, when the pages start coming in and how characters start looking and behaving on the page, how you've made your contribution, how that folds back into the writing, and how it all becomes cyclical and it all kind of folds in waves. I'm intrigued by that kind of process. But then you also have the colors as well, with Matt Hollingsworth. That must be thrilling to see those pages come back.
It's yeah, it always makes my entire day. Matt has somehow found a way to channel every inspiration that we had gave him and do something entirely different, but yet perfect. The idea at first, we asked him, the idea was to do sort of a Batman Year One kind of popish colors, 80s colors. And when you look at the book, it's very different, and yet you can understand that that was the initial reference. And the palette is extraordinarily different. It's very unique. It's very weird, but I love it. I think it works fantastically with the script and the pages.
Yeah.
And then again, we didn't ask. We just told him, this is our basic idea. You just do what feels right for you.
Yeah. That's very cool. I mean, also, because I saw something recently on your Twitter that you've been rereading Batman Year One, the noir version, the inks version. While I'm a huge fan of Matt's work, I'm curious if we'll ever see a inks noir version of November, of just the inks.
So we did some of that in the previous Kickstarter with the commentary edition, which we have in this Kickstarter as well. So we had 60 pages of inks in black and white. As for an entire edition of, maybe, we'll see. If sales are high enough on the volumes that we do have now, we'll maybe consider doing something like that. It would be nice.
Yeah. What's next for you? I mean, in terms of more sequential work, is it going to be more November down the line, a fifth volume, or have you got something else that another project that you'd like to get your teeth into?
November is done. It's a self-contained story.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there isn't going to be a fifth volume. Initially, it was supposed to be 3, but Matt felt that to tell the full story, we had to have another volume. But that's done. I'm doing an issue for Department of Truth, the new image series by James Tynion. I hope I'm saying his name right, and Martin Simmons. So I'm doing an issue for that, and it's going to be very, very fun. It's a guest issue.
Oh, right. Okay. Ah, wow. Okay. Because I mean, I know about the cover.
Yes.
Which,
so I'm doing the cover and the entire issue.
Right. Ah.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes a little, because I thought it was a variant cover, but no, you're doing the full issue. Okay.
Yes, and it's going to be a concept issue. You'll see. It's going to be great. I usually take advantage of one-shots to try and come up with a fun storytelling, and we have something that is taking shape. It's going to be fun. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just that I mean, we've got the creative team of Department of Truth coming on tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to, because I've read the first 2 issues. I'm a huge fan of the book already. It's already going to be one of my big books of the year. It's absolutely fantastic.
Actually, in my art book that is right now on Kickstarter, I'm doing a chapter on an immersive chapter on the development of the concept, the visual concept for this story. I'm going to break down from beginning my references and how. Yep, that's a crop of the cover. And I'm going to walk you guys through every step of the process to figuring out, because right now I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do with this issue. So as I'm figuring it out, I'm going to be taking notes and pictures, and I'm gonna put all that in your book.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Then
I have another book lined up.
Oh, okay.
We're starting a few months from now, and I can't say anything about this.
Fair enough.
It's going to be creator owned. That's all I can say.
That was good. That was going to be my next question. If it's it's something for yourself, excellent stuff. Is that going to be Kickstarter funded as well, or is that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Maybe we might do like a fun hardcover, fun thing at some point, but no, it's going to go through the regular channels.
Fair enough. I mean, like I say, I'm a huge fan of the book so far of Department of Truth, so I'd be really curious to see what you come up with. I mean, what's been I'm. What's been your take of what you've seen so far of the actual story, and in terms of conspiracy theory and the idea of oversight when it comes to what we can consider truth? What's been your what have you made of the story so far?
Well, first of all, I think it's really interesting to be publishing such a story now. And truth is seems to be something that is debatable. And I love it. I think that the art works fantastically with the script. It's Martin's work is very, very different from what I do and what I can do. So I'm always, how does it go about doing such pages? So I think it's fantastic, and I'm very interested in figuring out and seeing what they do with the book next.
Yeah. When would that book be appearing in the run? The life of the book.
I think February.
All right. Okay.
I think it's going to be issue 6.
Oh, right, okay. So, I mean, literally just really as the story's kind of coming together and the groundwork's coming together. So to come in as a guest issue.
Yes, it's creators do that to have a gap month to kind of take some rest. So it's a guest issue between trades. Yeah.
But like I say, I mean, I think it's when a story is really finding its feet that early. I mean, what's really then you're part of that groundwork, that setting of the framework of a story, really, being the first person that's coming on as a guest. What kind of challenges does that bring?
I haven't thought about this really. You mean in terms of pressure, or in terms of my place in the story?
Yeah, I think your place in the story. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't have the script yet, so I can't tell you how it all fits and how my issue kind of works within a larger scope of the story. So I really can't answer that right now.
Fair enough. I'm like I say, I mean, I thought this was a variant cover, so this is just thrilling to me to hear that you're doing the guest issue. This is fantastic.
It's going to be the cover B to my issue. Martin is going to be the main cover, though.
Right. Okay. Wow. Yep. I'm up for that. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be great. Yes. What else have you got kind of lined up, or what have you been working on? Has it been mostly the art book that you're working on in terms of getting a project together at the moment?
Sorry, you broke up. How long did it take to put the art book together? Was that it?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. Right now, it's very different from the first art book that was 80% completed when I launched the Kickstarter. Right now it's less for the second art book, but I do know what's going to be in there, and it's in my head. It's not. I haven't done it yet because the decision to do the Kickstarter was so okay. Let's do this right now. But the campaign itself took us about 10 days to put together, full time. Because I was supposed to be on a vacation when I was getting bored, and I decided to do the Kickstarter campaign. So I would say about 10 days, and then it's about a month and a half work to put the whole art book and the commentary edition together. It's a packed month, but I try to limit myself to not more than that. Yeah,
because if we just talk about the numbers, I mean. The first art book, we took $65,000, 824 backers. This second art book, it was backed in 6 minutes, like we say. It was, the goal was €9,000. It's currently sitting at 71,000. What kind of pressure does that put on you as a creator to know there's that much anticipation for this book?
I do not think of it. Otherwise, I think I would just freeze. I have the ability to, when I don't want to think about something, it's out of my head. So I'm not thinking about this right now. Otherwise, I think I will just like be petrified. So
I'm sorry for bringing it up now.
No. But it's interesting, and it did make me very happy and confident for the future to know that people were there when I said, okay, I have this thing now out for you, and I need your help to put it out, and people showed up. But whether it's 100 people or 1,000 people, I always try to make good quality books and illustrations, and that doesn't change anything. Because the idea of putting something out there that is average or less than what I am capable of doing is proof.
Yeah.
So I always try to do my best.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much or how many people.
That's fair enough. With the campaign, I think we talked about this right at the beginning of the conversation about the challenges of putting a Kickstarter together in 2020 when not only are funds particularly tight for a large amount of people, but also with the amount of Kickstarters that are happening nowadays, because a lot of creators are turning to crowdfunding to kind of reestablish that rapport and the connection with an audience, because that's the thing that's been kind of taken away from a lot of creators with the industry struggling as it is. What's been the biggest challenge then in putting the Kickstarter together, and is off the back of a successful Kickstarter? Because you're basically asking for that relationship with the audience to continue. How's that worked in terms of putting this campaign together?
Well, first of all, I was very scared that we wouldn't match the first campaign. I would have seen it's stupid, but personally, I would have seen that as a failure. Not, a failure to maybe people weren't, and it's just me. I always want to do better than what I did before. So it was a relief just for myself that we did as much. And there is definitely an added pressure right now with, the amount of Kickstarters that are out there. And that was also something on the back of my mind. Are those mini campaigns gonna kind of take away backers from us? I was concerned about that. There's only so much money that people will spend on Kickstarter. And I thought, they have a Keanu Reeves book coming out. It's like, okay, all the potential backers are going to go there. But it turns out no. Because it's something that I really appreciate with the comic book community is that people are very faithful to creators that they love. And they will not let you down. And it's in those trying times, it's really, really important. And I think the added pressure was that when we decided to do this Kickstarter, I didn't have my next book lined up. So I had no work lined up. So I was like, this is better work. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to be eating pastas for the next 9 months.
Yeah.
So all of these things were important factors to when we launched. So you can imagine the sense of relief when we got funded. It's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. When I've been speaking to people about crowdfunding, your name does come up because they've certainly they're looking to your success and certainly your model for putting the Kickstarter together. And they're saying that they're drawing on you as an inspiration for that. I'm really curious, and this may be for any artist that is watching this, just how dirty and into the nuts and bolts of metrics and audience retention and timings of Kickstarters. How in depth do you get into that, or do you come at it from a more organic place? What's
I would say both. I do study campaigns, other campaigns a lot, successful ones, unsuccessful ones, to understand what works and what doesn't seem to work. So I did a lot of work, especially for the first Kickstarter, because I was kind of going, this is my first time, I don't know what I'm doing. I did less research for that one because I had maybe a bit more knowledge of what people were expecting. I do map out a marketing and promotion strategy in advance, so as not to, be like last minute on everything.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can do last minute. So a lot of preparation was involved in advance. I do watch metrics and data, but I don't obsess over it. I do look at which tiers go the fastest, because that's a good indication of what people want.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I do watch, you have the ability to create custom URLs, to know what articles worked better, what tweet worked better, and that allows you to focus maybe a bit more focused on your strategy. But I do make a lot of research.
Okay. Well, I mean,
and I mapped out the budget.
Oh, okay. Wow. So, what would you say are the biggest? I mean, I don't want to focus on the biggest mistakes that you do see people organizing campaigns make, because we can also talk about what you feel are some of the better strategies for campaigns to go. But what would you say are some that are mistakes that maybe new people coming into Kickstarter do make?
I think the biggest mistake to make, and it doesn't apply necessarily to Kickstarter, but to crowdfunding, generally speaking, is Kickstarter is not a store. It's not a pre-order store. People that come to Kickstarter expect something, some sort of relationship with the creators. That's really important to most backers. And I think that's what worked well for us in the past, is that I am genuinely interested in the relationship with readers. And so that's the most important thing. And it's the thing that works well in huge campaigns is the collaboration, the conversation with the backers. So that may be the most important thing. And then the other biggest mistake, I would say, is your campaign, your page campaign is your ad, so it better looks good.
Yeah.
And I obsess a lot over what I put in there, what we take out, and how it's done. And I change pictures about 100 times before we launch. And the copy is very important too. So this is, backers might not see your Twitter feed or your Instagram feed. The campaign page itself, it's what's supposed to sell the book.
Yeah.
So you better concentrate all your efforts on it.
In that regard, then, I mean, for the social media aspect of it, how important is that in establishing that conversation with the audience beyond the actual campaign itself?
Huge. It's huge. It's exposure,
Yeah.
And once again, there's a way to do Twitter, and then there's a way to do Twitter. Retweeting stuff does not engage the audience. And I do some periods of time when I am very busy on my work and I don't, have time to stop and tweet stuff out and think out funny posts and stuff like that, where I will retweet a lot of stuff that I like. But engaging with people is very important, to have that, once again, relationship with the people that you're selling your books to.
Yeah. I'm having some slight issue with Chrome at the moment. I don't know. I think my camera may be black at the moment. So what I'm going to do is it's okay. I'm going to ask a question.
Yes.
I'm going to let you answer it, and I'm going to close Chrome and come back. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to close Chrome while you answer the question, if that makes sense. Okay.
I will talk to the
by all means, talk to the audience by all means. And I think it's actually a relevant question, especially for the audience, because doing an art book, it's different than a publication campaign in that you're asking people to invest in you rather than a story or a narrative package. But in that case, do you think backers deserve to influence? Because you say and you talk about how you feel, or you pay attention to what people backers are buying and what they're supporting. How much do you feel that they then should influence what should go inside the book?
Okay. Let me think about this. I am very much I'm a control freak, so I do like to make my own decisions. So that's very important to me. But I have some stuff that I will take into account of what people love, not in terms of specific content as to what goes in there, but maybe the way I'm going to present it and what I'm going to maybe sum up and what I'm going to delve more into. So that's important. But I would never put inside book something that I don't like just because backers ask for it. Is that better? Can you hear me and see me fine?
I can indeed. Yes.
Okay. So it is important, and to a certain extent, because as a creator, I also have a vision for the book, and so I want to carry that vision. And that's something that is very different I studied a lot of campaigns for board games, and board games campaigns are very, very collaborative, and gamers expect to have some sort of influence over the final product. That is not the case with comics at all. I think we're kind of in between. Yeah, I have a vision that I tend to stick to, but I will adjust it by taking into consideration what people are interested in, what they are not interested in. And that doesn't mean on that book necessarily. I had people texting me about, tweeting me about what they liked about Volume 1. So, okay, this is something that people seem to be really into, so maybe I'll put more of that, in Volume 2.
Because I mean, certainly it seems from the campaign that I've seen for the second art book, and also for the kind of things that we've seen in terms of what you're talking about, what you're bringing into it. It does seem like it's a lot of process. That seems to be what people have responded to. People have really kind of related to. Is that how the second art book has responded?
Yes, definitely. But I try to be mindful about the fact that people are buying a book about art, first of all. So I do include some process. It's important, and I think that maybe what differentiated from maybe other more typical art book, but art should still be at the forefront, and that's the most important part of the book. Sure. And it's something that I had very good feedbacks on, is that we have very high quality scans and the book is very high quality, but I also have pictures, close-ups and all that stuff that you can't really see on your phone, on your tiny screen. So the art book is a very good opportunity to have very good quality pictures that people can, you know, spend some time on and look at the details, which they wouldn't do on their phones. Yeah. So I try to find a balance between those two, not too much text, not only pictures. It's a fine balance, and I hope that I'm, you know, I'm there.
Yeah. And also, certainly when it comes to the art book, and indeed most of the campaigns that I've backed over the course of the year, while the additional bits and pieces like stickers and bookmarks and everything kind of it gets people's attention, it is the main book that follows. It's the thing that gets my interest the most. But for yourself, how important then are the bonus bits and pieces, as it were?
It's not.
No.
No, and I, as a backer, I really don't care for stickers. Not that I don't think it's a good idea to put them out there. Just personally, I don't care for them. So it's not at the it's not listed as a perks of the campaign. It's not definitely not something that we put a heavy focus on. But we did add some goodies, and because I know that some people love them, so it's a little surprise in the packages that we put some. The campaign is not about stickers and prints, and it's about 2 books, and that's what we're focusing most on.
Hello?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, you went very quiet there.
Sorry, I was done.
Okay, fair enough. I think also the thing that has been intriguing me about Kickstarter and crowdfunding in general, certainly for this year, like I say, that relationship with an audience, it's a powerful thing for someone like yourself as an artist who's established in comics. But we're seeing a number of people and high-profile characters coming in to create Kickstarters in comics who haven't come from there. The Keanu Reeves campaign, for example, and there's a couple of others that come to mind as well. I mean, what's been your thoughts on people almost using Kickstarter as a tool to kind of forward their own comics ambitions?
I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, I understand that publishers are also in a tough spot right now. So they take every opportunity they can to get their books into people's hands. I understand that. But I do like thinking of crowdfunding and the crowdfunding platforms as a way for creators that either can't or don't want to go through a regular publisher to have their platform. And I'm a bit scared that bigger and bigger and bigger campaigns are gonna, cannibalize, and that maybe independent creators are gonna need a new platform to say, hey, indie are over there.
Yeah, that seems to be my concern with it.
I'm conflicted. In a way, I think it's great that established creators can make a lot of money on Kickstarter, but I also think maybe it wasn't what Kickstarter was created for in the first place, but it might just be a vision of the mind, because when you look at Kickstarter for tech, you have those huge campaigns making millions and millions. I don't think you can talk about indie creators at that point.
No.
But traditionally for comics, it has been for smaller independent creators, but there are no rules.
No, sure.
But I'm afraid that it's going to change the platform a little bit.
Yeah. I think that also, Sarita P has jumped in, and I think these are the two examples, and IDW as well are going in there. Top Cow's done it twice. Aspen Comics. I find it strange that companies would use it. Yeah, I think for myself, I can understand, because for me, Kickstarter isn't necessarily about funding something, which sounds strange. It's more about a dialogue. You are creating a two-way conversation with an audience, and where I think publishers, surely if they're established, they've already made that stand. They've already created that relationship with their audience. Yeah. This is I thought that Kickstarter, that was what Kickstarter was about.
Yeah, and it has changed a lot, because a few years ago, when the first publishers started going on Kickstarter, it was like, oh, and now it's almost okay to do it. And because also, to me, when you work with a publisher, such as Boom, for example, or even Skybound, wherein you're relinquishing part of your ownership to them, it's because they are an established publisher, and you count on them because they're established, to find the audience for you. When they start going on platforms like that, the incentive of having to give away 50% of your right is less, to me, justifiable.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, the thing also that kind of gets me in terms of say, for example, I mean, let's use the Keanu Reeves campaign as the example. The fact that they've turned to crowdfunding to launch this book. This is a book that was going to sell anyway. This was something that was going to get the attention purely because it's got Keanu Reeves' name and indeed his likeness on the page. This was going to sell, and I find it almost. I'm not going to say betrayal, because that's a bit too strong, but certainly a letting down of the audience, that you are kind of shilling in this way. That you're kind of, I don't know how. I don't know how, I think you're right. It's very. It makes me conflicted as well.
Mm-hmm. They probably didn't need to do a campaign to make profit of this book. They decided to do it. It's a new way of doing things, and I think that we can say it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only way that it would ever that kind of campaign would ever redeem itself is much the same way that Scott Snyder is doing his campaign. That's another. It's not the same equation, because it's not someone from outside of comics coming in to get their story told like Keanu's doing. But Scott is a superstar in the comics industry, and for him to then turn to crowdfunding to create the book that he's doing. But I think where Scott's campaign has a better way of communicating with his audience is because he's then taking the money that he's raised beyond his goal to then create other books and to domino into other talent. I think that for me is where the campaigns differ. With the Keanu Reeves campaign, you don't know where the money is effectively going. It's going back into the publisher's coffers, surely.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I think that's where I get a little bit concerned, that it's just going straight into their profit margin instead of going back to the creators or going back to.
I don't know. Maybe it will allow them to put out there books that maybe are going to sell less. But now that they have, made this much money with this campaign, they will take on those books. Somehow, I hope it's going to go back to creators.
Yeah.
I hope.
I don't want this to seem like I'm putting this on you then, because at the end of the day, you have made a sizable chunk of money beyond your stretch goals. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, you could say that maybe I'm starting to enter that, level of. Does it still count as you need our money to put your book out.
Yeah.
So,
What will you be using the excess money or the money that's gone beyond the stretch, that initial target? Is it to other books? Is it what's your intention, or what's your thoughts on what you're going to do?
well, first of all, it's a like I said before, having enough money to live on for a little while allows you
Sure.
to start projects that you know either you might not make any money off of, or it would take a long time before you actually do. So what it's going to allow us to keep doing creator-owned books and not having to do work for hire just because you need the money.
Yeah.
So this, and also put more books out and take more risks, because that's also something that you can't do when you're, limited by your funds.
Sure.
But it's, the only thing that we like to do is create books. So it's all gonna go back to creating books.
I think also, I do want to bring up the actual the campaign as well up on screen so people can see it, because like I say, it's incredibly popular. It's obviously done great guns on Kickstarter. What have you got? What's the plans now in terms of stretch goals and what you've got coming up when it comes to this campaign? What's down the line?
So we just passed our 70,000 euro, 70k euros, if you want, for the Amy readers and I poster collaboration, where we're both going to draw part of an illustration for a poster for backers, for all backers. So we just got that. And as for the next stretch goals, they're not announced yet. We're going to announce them probably in the morning. But
right.
I can tell you that you are gonna love this. It's no stickers, it's no bookmarks. It's going to be huge, and I'm not saying that lightly.
Well, I mean, considering the stretch goals you've had so far, I mean, we've got them up on the screen at the moment. I mean, the Tom King and Declan Shalvey stretch goal that excites me because yes. I'm a big fan of the pair of them. So you've got the Tom King script page and yourself and Declan putting the art together in a storytelling showdown. I mean, I'm sorry, that alone tickles me. That intrigues me. That's really
so
really cool.
That's gonna go as a chapter in the book, where Tom is gonna give us a script page that we haven't seen drawn, and then we're both gonna do our own version of it and compare notes, and Tom is gonna look at it and say, this is how I saw things, this is not how I saw things, but that's very interesting. And all the three of us are gonna talk about process. And the first stretch goals was, in the art book, there's gonna be drawing tips, and we're going to print QR codes in the book, and then having them lead to videos of myself explaining on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I think we can also talk about the video as well, because, I mean, we were talking about things that people have done, mistakes, or things they've done well when it comes to campaigns. And I think a good campaign video can really kind of set off a campaign and really show that there's some quality involved. I am going to show the campaign video at the end of this interview, because I think people should see it. Because it's well shot, it's well put together.
Thank you.
It's a very cool video. Like I say, I mean, the book itself, if it's anything like the first one, which was just such a gorgeous piece of work, but also the fact that you're doing the levels of the styles of it, the collector's edition as well. And you really are you really are giving a real gift to your fans, because I think that's the thing that I took away from the first art book, that it wasn't something, like you say, that was just thrown together. It was something that you wanted to make sure was a quality piece of publication. And,
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, in 2020, unboxing is a huge thing. It has been for a while, and I think it's something that comic book creators should embrace more. You know, when you're backing a Kickstarter, you shouldn't, at least it's how I see it, get some Amazon like package. No, it's what the way I see it and the way I like to do it. That's also it. I love doing this. I'm not doing it because I think it should be done that way. It's what I would like to receive, so that's what I like to give. What we like to give it's a surprise. You know, to me, it should be like Christmas time when you get a package from a Kickstarter. And so the idea and how we put them together is that we're sending off little pieces of ourselves to backers. And we designed and custom the packages, and I added a little, thank you note in an envelope. We tried to think it through because I don't know, it's important. I feel so grateful to the huge amount of support that people have shown us, that I feel it's the least that I can do.
Absolutely. I heartily recommend everyone who's watching this to go and check out the campaign, because it really is something very special. And purely, like I say, if I can, once again, this was the first art book, and it's just so well put together. And if, like I say, if art book number 2, volume 2, is anything like this, I can't wait to get my copy when it comes through the post.
Thank you. And absolutely. We're also putting out in the campaign, there's a way to add to your pledge the first volume. That was
right, okay.
Because some people missed it and they want it, and they were very happy. We're testing out a new option on Kickstarter. It's a beta thing that I was able to get on, that add-ons are now embedded in the campaign. So that's pretty great.
Cool. Like I say, for artists that may be watching this, if you could give one piece of advice for anyone that's putting a Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaign together, what would you say would be the biggest piece of advice you could give?
Find out what makes you you, and make sure it shows through. I don't think there's a single way to do a good Kickstarter campaign, because it should be different for every creator. And don't be generic. Find out who you are. I know it's a and try to put that in writing and in pictures and in video. It should be you, because when backers back a project on Kickstarter, they don't just back a book, they back a creator.
Yeah.
So make sure they know who you are.
Yeah. And also try your best to work out your international shipping ahead of time as well. Because I from the people I've been speaking to over the summer, I've been told that that's the big hurdle for a lot of campaigns.
Really?
And can do a lot of damage, because people can kind of get tripped up with international shipping, and it gets swallowed into costs, and it kind of, that's what that's the thing I've been taking away.
Okay. I'm very careful about shipping, because even just €1 off of a tier, when you multiply that for however many backers you have, it can make a huge dent into your profit. Yeah. Profit margin, sorry.
Absolutely. But no, like I say, I'm a big fan. I am a backer of this campaign. I look forward to seeing the book, and I certainly look forward to seeing the Department of Truth issue as well.
Thank you. I'm excited.
You're excited. Good. Yeah, I very much am. So I'm very much up for that. So that's very, very cool indeed. Elsa, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much indeed for coming
Thank
on.
you for having me. Thank you so much.
I'd like to get you back on maybe at a later date to actually talk about career more than anything, because I mean we've kind of focused a little bit more on the Kickstarter, but I'd love to talk to you about your career and the other projects that you've been involved in, because like I say, I'm also a big fan of the Star Wars, the Forces of Destiny issue, and the books that you did in that regard, and all the other kind of artwork that you've done. So I'd love to get you back on down the line and talk about that.
I'd love to be back on your show if you'll have me.
Absolutely. Well, let's get the campaign out of the way first. Let's let you focus on that. Elsa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much indeed for coming on. Excellent
stuff. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys, and thank you for watching me go on and on and on.
No worries. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm going to bring up some pages because they are. I mean, so the artwork that Elsa does is just absolutely amazing, and well worth checking out. If you have not seen any of her work before, I would heartily recommend you finding out more. Certainly go to her Twitter as well, because she's someone who, like we discussed in the conversation, she really uses her social media very well to keep people up to date with the work that she's doing and what she's going to be putting into the art book. So there's plenty of bits and pieces that she's been putting up on her Twitter. Do check out her social media, because it's just full of some really great artwork, and I'm a huge fan. So there we go. I mean, yeah, I really should have asked her about what period of Star Wars she prefers to draw, because she likes drawing Rey and she likes drawing Luke and Leia as well. So yeah, I'd love to get her back on to talk about the other bits and pieces that she does. So there you go. Do check her out on Twitter. That's E_Charretier. Excellent stuff indeed. Thank you very much indeed for watching the show today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Once again, I'd like to thank our fantastic Patreon supporters. We're actually going to be putting up a new list of the people who are backing us at the moment. So from my way to say thank you very much indeed for your support. It allows us to keep doing what we do. So I'd like to once again thank you all for your support. This week we decided to go a little bit different. What we would usually do is half an hour into the conversation, we would close the public streams down and then make the full episode just available for the Patreon supporters. But I wanted more people to check out this campaign, so we've made the whole episode available as the free episode on the Sunday. Hopefully you'll go and check it out. Once again, that's the campaign address, kickstarter.com/projects, Elsa Charretier. Charretier's Artbook 2020. Do go check it out, because it is something very special indeed. We've got ourselves Aaron Neighbours saying thank you very much indeed. Yes, it's been a pleasure to talk to Elsa, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. Michael Dooley as well for tuning in. Thank you very much indeed for your company today. That's me. We are back again tomorrow with a very special episode. We've been able to get the full creative team. So we're going to be talking to the guys behind Department of Truth. We're going to be talking to writer James Tynan IV. We're going to be talking to Michael Simmons. And we're also going to be talking to the letterer as well. Basically, we've got the full gang, and they're going to be joining us 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. That's tomorrow for a very special episode looking into Department of Truth. The book comes out on Wednesday, so this will be a nice little teaser for you. We'll be showing you pages from the book. We'll be giving you some of the background into its creation and its origin story, and we'll certainly be talking about Martin's evolution as an artist, because what he's doing on Department of Truth is absolutely career best stuff. It's absolutely incredible. So really looking forward to talking to them. It's one of our incidental episodes. It happens tomorrow. Please do join us for our Department of Truth special, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. And once again, check out Elsa's campaign. Check this out for a campaign video. You can't go wrong with this.
The first time I picked up a pen, it was a disaster. I was 25 years old, I had zero art skills, but decided I would become a comic book artist. Most of you know me through my work for DC Comics, Marvel, and Star Wars, for which I created hundreds and hundreds of pages. So much of what we do hidden away in our studios is attributed to raw talent or something that we're born with. But telling stories in pictures is a methodical, creative process, and I want to let you in on it. In 2019, on Kickstarter, I funded my first artbook that featured my best pieces and a detailed look into my storytelling work. Over 800 backers, a surreal campaign, and $60,000 later, we packed and shipped rewards all over the world with great love and care. So I decided to do another art book. This time around, I'm going to take you through an even deeper look into my process and technique. Large compositions with multiple characters, grayscale illustrations, covers, drawing tips, and incredible guests. If you've backed my first Kickstarter, you know about the commentary edition of November, which is sort of a handwritten commentary track of my creative decisions on this book. For this campaign, we're adding an incredible twist. Matt Fraction, New York Times bestselling author of Sex Criminals and co-creator of November, will join me and reveal his never-seen notebooks and writing process. Pacing, panel breakdown, balloon placement, will cover it all. I'm hoping these two books will give you an insight into what we do as comic book creators, maybe inspire some of you to start your own creative journey, or simply be books that you'll enjoy flipping through on a rainy day. I hope you enjoy this campaign, and thank you.